Welcome to Lot 76 Cars. My name's Simon, and today I am absolutely delighted to be driving the mighty Perodua Nippa. So first of all, many thanks to Rich, who's got an eclectic mix of vehicles, who's very kindly lent me this car today. So please check out his webpage, thespecial.org, and have a follow of his webpage and his super collection of cars. So some of you will know that I previously made a video about the Perodua brand's entry into the UK market. It was the second car manufacturer to come out of Malaysia, and they so please check that out. But they actually entered the market with a model based on the previous generation Daihatsu Mira. Now, the idea of using a previous Japanese design was in actual fact quite a smart one, because it got them up to speed very, very quickly. And in fact, something that their counterparts Proton actually did as well. So that worked out quite well for them. So from launch, the company made huge amount of capital out of the fact that it was a very cheap car. And it was a cheap car, there's no question about it. But in actual fact, at under £6,000, it was several £1,000 behind some of its nearest competitor, or even undercutting the Fiat Cinquecento and the three-door basic Ford car, and even the cheapest Rover 100. So make no mistake, this was a very cheap motor car for the time. In fact, in 1998, improvements in the currency and the exchange rate between the Malaysian currency and the pound enabled the company even to reduce the price to 4,999, so under £5,000, and that made the car in actual fact the cheapest car in Britain available, the cheapest new car for quite some time. Now, it actually held this record almost to the point that the car was actually replaced. So it was a very cheap way to get into a compact full four-seater, four-door family car, albeit with a relatively basic specification. Not that basic, and we'll come to that shortly, but not to be sniffed at, really. So the car is built down to a price, but it's still got things like a 5-speed gearbox. It's got a clock inside here. It's got rudimentary instruments, a fuel gauge, a temperature gauge, and a speedo and a tripometer. But what else do you need at this price level? It's an absolutely tiny car. Now, the steering is unassisted, but honestly, I had to check that because the steering is so light. But given the weight of the vehicle, in actual fact, it's not surprising. Its 850cc motor pulls along this very, very lightweight car. And in actual fact, it is just 646 kilos. That's 262 kilos lighter than a Ford car. Can you believe that? So it doesn't need power steering. It doesn't have it. It's light. And of course, even in this trim with this weight, you're enabled to return MPG figures somewhere into the 50s. So it's a very economic way to get around. So that 3-cylinder engine is actually mounted transversely, and its 850cc still produces 66 newton meters of torque at a reasonable 3,800 RPM, with the full 42 brake horsepower being available at a heady 5,300 RPM. That's Daihatsu's own figures there. In actual fact, even if you look at the engine itself, the origin of the engine isn't actually disguised, and the engine cover actually shows the Daihatsu name on there as well. So it's not hidden from view. Its origins are clear. So the performance is 0 to 60. Does it matter? But it's 15.8 seconds. And if you're still interested, the top speed is 84 miles an hour. But thankfully, the owner tells me they've done a few long runs, and that 5-speed gearbox is an absolute godsend on a long run. Now, I had to check the figures again for this, and I'm still not sure I'm right here, because it says the turning circle is just 4.5 meters. Now, for comparison, a Mark 1 Ford car, KA, was exactly double that at 9 meters. Can that be right? Put it in the comments, but that's what my research tells me. Now, one attraction for owners was the warranty. So at a time when manufacturers were still giving out 12-month warranties, this came with a 24 months, 24,000 mile mechanical warranty and a 72 months anti-corrosion warranty, which was pretty good going. The wheels on this particular car are banded steels, but they are the standard rim size, and they are just 12 inches, believe it or not, which is tiny by ND standard today. So the fuel tank, you're not going to be needing too much fuel, but in this instance, it is a 7-gallon tank. So in litres, what's that in litres? I'll put that on the screen, but it isn't a great deal. But even that, I think, would get you over 300 miles of range. I mean, that's absolutely incredible, isn't it? It's a testament to how economical this super little car is. Now, the suspension here, we're on a relatively rough road. The front suspension is struck with anti-roll bars, and the rear is a semi-trailing arm. So for several years, the Perodua was not only the cheapest new car, but in actual fact, the cheapest new car to run. So Cat Motor Research, the industry experts, declared the Perodua Nippa was Britain's cheapest car in 1998, costing an unbelievable 13 pence per mile to run. Now, in actual fact, this made it right to the top of Cat's top 20. Now, by January 2000, it looked like the life of the Nippa was coming to an end. In actual fact, the replacement was probably well overdue. Don't forget, this was already using technology which was coming from Daihatsu from some time before, and it was quickly falling behind. Now, in May 2001, in fact, the automotive press recorded that Nippa was on its last legs, and a company spokesperson apparently said the future could even come for the model before the end of the year, which was a shame. It was going to be replaced by the Perodua Kalisa, and we'll try and take a look at one of those in a future video as well. Now, in terms of external dimensions, this is an absolutely tiny car by any stretch of the imagination. Not necessarily in terms of length. It's 3.3 meters in terms of length, but in actual fact, the width is just 1.395 meters. Now, combined with the height, you've got significant interior space in the car, and it's quite deceiving, to be honest with you, but it does make it absolutely superb car for supermarket parking spaces. I guess you could even park it in the trolley park, and I think some people have even done that actually. The turning circle, this 4.5 meter turning circle, we'll try and get some other shots of that and cut those into the video. It's absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. So what's the Perodua Nippa like to drive? Well, the mighty Nippa, it feels light. From the light steering that I've mentioned elsewhere in the video, the 5-speed gearbox is very slick, probably reminds me of the Micra K10 of the period as well. The controls are typical finger-like Japanese controls, and everything you need is there. There is bare painted metal inside, but actually, as a means of getting a family or a mum or a dad to the shops, as a means of getting from A to B, there's a lot going for this car. And I guess they did hit the magic formula of using Japanese technology that was already well proven. And there's a lot to be said for that, to be honest with you. So we're batting on quite nicely at 30-40 miles an hour in the Perodua Nippa. And you know what? It's just great, basic, honest transport. And I'm smiling a lot because it's an awful lot of fun. It's light steering, light pedals, very light gear change, 5-speed gearbox. What's not to like? So what do we think to the Perodua Nippa? Well, is it in actual fact, as the advert says, a new dimension in smart driving? Well, in actual fact, the car was the cheapest new car for sale in Britain for some time. It's good four-door family transport. There's lots of room in it. It's very narrow. You can park it in a supermarket car park trolley. And if you do see one on the roads, it would be a rare occurrence. I think there are just 26 of these EX models left, and maybe just over 30 of the model in total. So hope you've enjoyed that review of the Perodua Nippa. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications to be informed about my next video. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.